Don't engage alone. We'll do this together.
Yeah! We got it! We got it!
52 books.
Somebody clip this one.
Welcome to Comics League Movie Night. I'm your host, Jared. As usual, the bearded Lord of Comics. Let's bring in the panel of men as we discuss this awesome movie. Now, let us discuss the man that is as old as Constantine. Grandpa Nick!
Your beard is good, but mine is better.
Debatable. Speaking of good beard...
look at this beautiful...
All the hopes and dreams of Krypton live in you now.
We are the bearded men. There you go. We got it.
And yes, I had a shave, if you must know. Yeah.
Honestly, Talati, I gotta say, you've done a really good job trimming the thing. I got like a wild thing going on. Jared's got like a few pubes, so it's all good.
Exactly. So,
oh my God, Brown Destroyer, we need to ban him.
That is a
I'll have you know,
right there.
My neck does not have very much beard. It's all chin.
You know what's hilarious? We've been streaming for 2 minutes and we already got another Comics League moment. Hey, what's up, Devia? So today we are discussing one of the oddest DC adaptations, very loose adaptations of DC, Constantine. But first, there's one thing that I want to talk about real quick, because Nick and I briefly talked about this on CLD last night, but I wanted to get Taladia's input on
Survey
it.
says.
Yeah, so Taladia, what do you think about the fact that WB is surveying their A-list influencers about the Snyderverse?
It's basically saying, Warner Brothers is basically saying, if James Gunn's universe doesn't plan out the way they want it to, they can always fall back on the Snyderverse, right?
So, like I was joking with Jared backstage, that if we're ever at a grill, like a barbecue with Zack Snyder, and he asks us how he wants our steak, I'm gonna say restored.
Yeah, exactly. Or licensed to Netflix.
I mean, sell the Snyderverse to Netflix is the best option right now. And David Ayer has also retweeted yesterday the Forbes article from last year. So it's basically saying a lot about...
exactly.
Basically saying a lot. I think Warner Brothers right now are in a situation where, you know,
exactly.
They're like...
Go ahead.
They're like, Warner Brothers is in a situation financially they can't cope with the amount of money they've lost. It's like, okay, what can we really do?
That's why. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Talia.
They were like, we have to put the Zack Snyder stuff on the server.
I mean, Universal is about to head up to David Zales and say, "I am buying this studio."
Other breaking news: water, wet.
I mean, I was kind of ahead of the second part, but that's still a good joke.
Brown says, Jared, if that happens, is it going to be live action? It's probably, like put this way, I've always maintained that if they license it to Netflix, it's live action.
Yeah, live action.
Most likely live action. I don't think it's going to be AI technology with super realistic.
Oh, it's not going to be AI, but animated, I think, is on the table.
It could be on the table, and that's an option, but it depends on what on how many of the actors will sign on for animation versus live action.
Well, here's the thing: it's a lot easier to get an actor to sign on for animation than it's live action because there's a lot less commitment. Like you could have Henry Cavill be in Britain recording his lines, Gal Gadot in Israel, Ray Fisher in Detroit for all we and he's kind of thing.
But I agree with Randall. I agree with Randy.
And by the way, real quick. I just want to let you guys know that Aquaman: The Lost Kingdom is the highest-grossing DC film sequel.
But the WB's confidence is shaken because the fact that they put so much confidence in the Flash, that then they said, "Oh, Blue Beetle will do numbers," and then they put confidence in other films. It's been flop after flop after flop.
What is Aquaman's take currently?
Let me bring that up. Highest grossing sequel. So it's a movies that have sequels.
Yeah. It did better than Shazam Fury of the Gods. And by the way, I'm going to put this out there. Crazy Joe, it's even better than...
Oh, wait. Didn't Dark Knight do $1 billion?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So isn't that the highest grossing DC sequel?
Highest grossing DC film. I think what they mean is in the DCEU.
Yeah, DCEU film.
So it wouldn't be Dark Knight.
They need to communicate that better.
Yeah. So it's made $375 million globally.
Okay, but like, isn't Batman v Superman a sequel and that made 800 something?
Yeah. Under Zach, yes, of course.
That's true. Yeah.
And that's still DC. Like, you can't really talk your way out of that.
That is DCU.
And you know what also is funny is Dolph Lundgren's comment about the fact that the original...
That is a wide cut of some Aquaman. Oh, jeez.
So, guys, I will put this out there. Release the wand cut.
Yes. This tweet is...
Please no, because apparently, like, that means more Amber Heard, and I don't want the movie to crap the bed any more than it already has.
I believe in a...
Brown.
Ban!
Break out the ban hammer. Yeah, exactly.
Which, by the way, I do need to get like a foam Mjolnir and just write ban on it.
Yes, you do. That'd be funny. And you can hit. You need a squeaky one, so when it hits, beep, ban hammer.
Oh my god, yes.
So the thing go ahead.
So, like I said, I think the Snyderverse is happening regardless, right? I think behind the scenes they know they're bleeding money, so they're like, okay, sell off to Netflix. That's the best way we're going to make our money back. And then furthermore, they can have an Elseworld story that can continue on Netflix.
Yeah, what I think is probably happening is that it's going to happen. It's not even a matter of if James Gunn's universe is successful. They're just saying, let's just continue it as an Elseworld story. Because here's the thing. The minute they said we were going to expand the Matt Reeves universe, indicated a willingness to explore other options outside of like a prime DC universe. So I'm
here's
like, wait. I'm not done yet. If they wanted to, if they didn't want anything to compete with the Gunverse, why would they do that, Nick?
Okay, so I see 3 possible outcomes. A and B are I can see happening. The third one, which is Snyder, is a bit of a up in the air. First thing is James Gunn universe is successful and it runs for however long. James Gunn universe is unsuccessful. The first thing they're going to do is look to the Matt Reeves universe, which that's going to be a question they're going to have to answer eventually because they're not going to have 2 Batmen running at the same time. Like, they're not going to have a Brave and the Bold Batman running at the same time as the Batman. That is not going to happen.
Yes.
That is brand confusion. And if the Gunn universe fails, then they can just use the Reeves universe as a springboard to launch the greater DC universe. And I don't care what Matt Reeves says, he's going to have to play ball or he's going to be out.
Yeah. Is there any possibility of Mike DeLuca coming back?
He's already there.
I think what he means is getting put back in charge of it. Again, it depends on because here's the thing. Zaslav is one of the guys where if there's any possibility that this movie won't make what he wants, because no matter what anyone tells you, I got news for you. Anyone that tells you, DC is going to be okay if this movie doesn't do crazy numbers. False. You obviously haven't been paying attention to David Zaslav. If this thing is
is precisely not what James Gunn needs.
It's not going to be successful. He's going to abandon it. Go ahead, Nick.
And that is exactly not what James Gunn needs because, I'm sorry, James Gunn is not a billion-dollar movie director. Like, I think even his most successful films haven't even breached $1 billion. Like I don't think even his Guardian films have. feel free to correct me.
WB brought this on themselves. They should have just taken their time to build the universe properly instead of rushing to a Justice League movie. That is true, and that's what Zack wanted.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty much agreed. Like, I'll even your most hardcore Snyder fan would agree with you on that one too. So.
And Tevia says Zaslav is super cheap. Yeah, exactly. He is very cheap. And I'm like, if there's any possibility that the movies won't do well, he'll go out there. But so the reason why I want to talk about the surveys is, again, if this universe is not if they're not going to do anything with the Snyderverse, why explore it? Why survey it? In fact, I believe the survey question is like, what are your thoughts on the Snyderverse? And then one of the option is, I'm a super fan of it.
I mean, it's very clear that as much as Warner Brothers says, we don't really like the Snyderverse, they're more than happy to make money off of it. Like, they're still selling Snyderverse merch.
By Taladia, that BVS Batfleck action figure that McFarlane has, not only did it sell out for pre-orders, it has a cloth cape. And
it's sold out.
I need it.
What about that new one that I linked you to from Beast Kingdom?
I didn't see it yet.
But
I put it in the chat.
But what I was going to say, the whole thing, I saw like, Zack Snyder's Man of Steel, Zack Snyder's Justice League.
Yeah, it says Zack Snyder's DC films, e.g. Man of Steel, Justice League, and then the option to click is very much a fan.
Yeah, and I was just like, yes, this shows that Warner Brothers right now is very shaky. They really think right now we're bleeding money. They need to do something.
Well, the other thing is, remember, guys, there was this. Yeah, there was. When Gal Gadot was asked at an event about her future as Wonder Woman, she says, "Oh yeah, stuff is being worked on behind the scenes," and then she kind of glanced towards Zack Snyder.
Yeah. Also, to be fair, James Gunn promised her a movie and then basically stabbed her in the back. So James Gunn strikes me as a person who will say anything in the moment to he'll tell people what they want to hear, basically.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't have much faith in whatever James Gunn says. He'll change his mind.
He'll change his
Jinx,
mind.
you owe me a Coke.
Yeah, exactly. He changed his mind. But so all in all, I think it's actually a really good. I said some Snyderverse coming out. It's gonna be a good time to be a DC fan, because I think we're gonna get everything we want, guys. I really do.
And not only that, but Zack Snyder did win an award. We forgot to mention that.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Zack Snyder won an award for choice. Where is it? He won an award for Joy Award, where it's basically all of his movies from past, present, and future. So like Zack Snyder's Justice League, Man of Steel, BVS, Legends Guardians 300, all of that, and his retrospect basically, and he won an award for it.
Yeah, honorary content creator awards at the Joy Awards.
Yeah.
Well deserved.
Yeah, I'm like, thank you, sir. So, okay, let's get to Constantine. Transition, please. Constantine. All right. So, this was an interesting one. I have never, because here's the thing. While Keanu Reeves at times acts like John Constantine, this doesn't seem like John Constantine.
Also, this is, I'm convinced this is a parallel universe John Wick.
No.
That's why I put in the description, John Wick fights the devil.
No, I mean,
he acts like to be fair, Keanu Reeves acts like Keanu Reeves in most of the movies, but he's using guns, just the way he goes about things. It's like.
And also, this is the DCEU version.
Oh yeah, it's Brown. It's John Wick with magic. That's what it is, pretty much. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now, and the other thing that really, I guess, spoke to me, I guess, is in this thing. And yes, Tevia, Matt Ryan is the perfect Constantine. I agree with you on that one. But it's still a fun movie.
Jay Heat is the perfect Constantine. Let's be honest.
Yeah, obviously, and if he's here, I'll let him do that. But
I'll give him credit to that. Yeah, he does do a good British accent.
And we got the British people, the British dude here.
Don't let him say that. Jim,
Oh, don't worry. Nick and I will tell him you said that. And it's recorded on this live stream for all of time.
Comics League moment.
Yes, it is. So the thing that also stood out to me when I was watching this movie is the VFX are actually really good in this. Like, for a movie that came out in 2005, again, it astounds me when you watch movies from 2005 that still hold up, but a lot of movies like The Flash don't hold up.
I mean, it probably helps that like a lot of the actors in this movie are still acting like the Rachel Weisz, you know, she's still kind of doing some stuff. Dijam Hansu, you know.
Yeah, he's like in so many DC projects. Jeez.
The only one who's kind of out of the game is like Shia LaBeouf. Also, I do want to give a shout out that how they had Batham, however you say his name, is played by Gavin Rossdale, the lead singer / guitarist of the band Bush.
Yeah. How much did it make? It made $203.9 million on a budget of $70 to $100 million.
So it was profitable. At least
it was a profitable movie. So Tavia, it wasn't a flop. Actually,
maybe a disappointment. You can maybe make that argument.
But here's the thing:
disappointment on a performer. It's definitely in that territory.
There's no way Warner Brothers approached this and said, "Yeah, this is going to be really big." Constantine. And this is even before Justice League Dark even came out or anything like that.
Not only that, but like the heavy religious themes of this movie. It's like, holy crap, this movie actually respects religion. Nobody's going to like it.
Yeah, actually, it's kind of funny. It respects the Catholic Church stuff a lot, which as a Catholic myself, I'm like, oh, I appreciate that.
For me, as a comic book film, it came at the perfect time because it was around about the time when the Batman Begins film was coming out, and the hype for DC films.
Where's John Constantine? Where is he?
Oh, fun fact.
Yeah.
So this film is responsible for why we call the character Constantine, because the character has always been called Hellblazer. Okay?
Oh, okay, that's cool.
So the reason why this movie is called Constantine is because there was another movie that came out around this time called Hellboy. And they wanted to avoid confusion, so they called it Constantine. So this movie is responsible for why it's called the IP is called Constantine now instead of Hellblazer, because Hellblazer was the name of all this stuff.
And fun fact: when this came out, Constantine was not part of the proper DC universe. That wasn't until Flashpoint that like Vertigo and Wildstorm were brought into the main DC universe.
Yes.
So we're about 7 years away from that.
By the way, as you saw in the Crazy on Infinite Earth special, the Lucifer we saw from the Netflix show is the same one. You know, is the same one. He interacts with Constantine a lot. And in fun fact, that version of the original version of Lucifer in the comics was based off of David Bowie.
Oh wow, that's awesome! I love that. That's awesome. Lucifer Morningstar. Why didn't they do a sequel? I've seen a sequel of flop movies before from WB.
Because they were planning one, and it was going to be part of the DCEU. Remember?
Are they still making that sequel?
That was a little bit. No, I don't remember any here. I know Green Lantern was, but they weren't planning the DCEU this early. Because this movie came out like pre-Batman. I mean, even then, the sequel would have come out like 2008 or so. I don't know. I think they're a little bit too early for that. I mean, I could be wrong, but I'm just going off of like my own opinions.
They could have. Okay, so now, but remember, we recently heard that they were actively working on Constantine Part 2. So who knows? Which I always maintain, Wildstorm should not be connected to the main. Yeah, that's true. That's true. I don't think like Grifter and Voodoo and all those characters work in the DC universe. Zealot maybe, but nah. And yeah, this is part of Vertigo, which for those that don't know, Vertigo was it was basically Black Label for DC, except it was non-superhero stuff and it was just like
Vertigo was kind of a special thing. Vertigo was adult comics, but it wasn't just like, oh, let's just throw some boobs, let's just throw some curse words. No, the modern interpretation of what adult means.
I have a trade of DMZ. That is DC Vertigo right there.
Another classic Vertigo comic is Why the Last Man, which got a very bad adaptation.
Very bad. Isn't that sequel didn't bear at this point? We don't know yet, Tabby. There hasn't been.
I think wasn't there rumors like a year or so ago that they wanted to do a sequel to this movie with Keanu Reeves, and he's supposedly on board.
Let me look that up real quick. But in the meantime, Taladia, what do you think of Constantine?
I love Constantine, the 2005 film, because it was dark, it was gritty, and yes, you had the sorcerer Tilda Swinton in this film too.
Yeah, that's true. That was the other thing where I'm like, oh wow.
Yep, playing the Archangel. Tilda Swinton has always kind of had this like otherworldly look to her. Like she is the perfect actress to play an angel, in my opinion.
As of November of 2023, the sequel is still on, and it's shooting for an R rating.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I could definitely see that. They said it was delayed because of the writer's strike.
I mean, fair.
So I'm like, it's nice to know that at least some of that stuff is working. Vertigo connected Sandman and Hellblazer and Fables, which was amazing. Yeah, that was cool. Lucifer
Fables Fables is a bit up in the air at the moment because the creator is having a dispute with DC. I think he declared it like public domain or something. I don't know.
But I don't think he can do that. So that's
he does own the IP though.
Yeah, but see, the problem with that is it's not like DC is like Image where it's creator-owned IPs, though.
Well, no, he actually does own the IP, and they've been trying to get him to sell him the IP for a long time.
I didn't know
and that's where this conflict comes from.
Okay, I didn't know that. Okay, so I guess that kind of goes to that.
Yeah.
But so the thing about this movie is, so the plot of this movie is that this woman commits suicide, and it turns out it's like she's part of this plot by the devil because the devil and God have this wager of they're going to send agents to Earth, and then each are going to try and influence humanity and see who comes out on top. Which I did like a lot of the creature designs in this. The one that was like in the person's stomach, that was creepy as hell. And then the one that was made up of crustaceans in the middle of the street.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah, so that was cool. So basically, Rachel Weisz plays, I believe, both the woman who commits suicide and her twin sister.
Yeah, they are identical twins.
Yeah. So the idea is that basically on the security camera footage, the twin basically says Constantine. So Rachel Weisz's character is like, okay, so I need to go find John Constantine because he'll know what's going on. And when we find Constantine, he's teaming up with Sam from the Transformers movies, and he's basically an exorcist essentially.
No. He is the sorcerer's apprentice.
Yeah, and apparently
I'm not wrong.
There are lots of holes in that argument, Nick.
Well, allow me to transform it into something usable.
Yeah. Brown says Destiny, Despair, Destroyer doesn't exist in DC mainline, only exists
Just
in
remember, Jared, he will not divide us.
Yeah, exactly.
I like how Talanian's like, I have no idea what's going on.
So what'd you guys? So let me ask you this, Nick. What'd you think of Keanu Reeves' portrayal as Constantine?
He's obviously kind of doing his own thing. He's not like the classic version. He's basically doing a standard Keanu Reeves performance, but I actually feel like his monotone low effect actually kind of benefits the character because John Constantine is supposed to be an end of his rope kind of guy. I mean, he's literally dying from lung cancer. So I actually think it kind of works.
It does kind of work, and I liked where he did have some moments where he was like John Constantine, like where he's going to heaven, and he turns around at Satan and does this.
Yeah.
I love that so much. I'm like, yes. That was so funny. It was so good. Because that's what Constantine would totally do that. So I'm like, yeah. Granted, he didn't have the accent or anything like that, which I was fine with because it's like, okay, it's a different.
It would have made his performance worse. I mean, have you seen Bram Stoker's Dracula?
No, I haven't.
He puts on a British accent in that one.
Oh boy, that sounds bad. But it's like for the most part, it was pretty good. So, Taladia, what did you think of Neo playing Constantine?
Well, Neo playing Constantine, I was just like, yes, thank you.
He's the one.
He's the one, yes. And it was like, it basically made sense as like why this film like is so well received like by fans. It's basically because it's dark, it's gritty, plus as well you got flipping Keanu Reeves doing the bird. Like I'm just like yes, and also the thing he does even just this.
I love that. Yeah,
it does that,
and it makes one logo.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And furthermore, this would actually fit into the DCU if it was.
It could. Honestly, I could see this in the Zack Snyder DC universe. 100%, I could see that.
Yes, and guys, we have to bring up Zack Snyder in this because there's a reason.
We always have to. That's the comic league rule. I also liked his golden shotgun that shot Dragon's Breath. I was like, oh yes.
Oh yes,
and he's like swapping out. Like we actually saw reloading, so this movie's automatically more realistic than any gun movie.
And you know what's funny? He makes Scaramanga from 007, the man with the golden gun, look terrible.
Oh, by the way, Brown says Neo fighting against demons after he cleared up AI mayhem from Earth. That's good. That's good.
I mean, Keanu is the man that made the Earth stand still.
Yes, exactly.
Oh, and
I'm referencing another movie of his.
Yeah, I know.
I remember that shot with the whole like a desert and all, like not a desert.
The nightmare timeline, in other words.
Yeah, that was.
By the way, yeah, because
Lois is the key.
Yeah, Lois is the key. What was kind of cool, I like their depiction of hell as being like nuclear bombed out Earth. It's like it's around us, in other words, and that was actually
so you really could say it's quite the nightmare.
Yes, exactly, and that was very much intentional, according to the director. They wanted hell to feel like it's all around us, and I liked how with heaven it's the opposite. It's all very cloudy and it's all very like clear and very like pristine, if you will, which of course because it's heaven. And then I just love it's like God. You know, it's kind of funny. I love where when Constantine's being brought to heaven, he's dragged back down to earth. It's almost like when he was giving the devil the finger. God's like, oh, he gave the finger. Nope, you're staying down there.
Well, no. It was Lucifer who basically gave him the gift of immortality because like that's kind of the whole thing of
no, but I'm just saying because I'm just saying it's like a God was doing. He's giving the middle finger. He goes, "Okay, I'm going to make Lucifer give him immortality." Oh, and we've got a real life Constantine. We got a real life. I'm trying to. Where's your intro? We have our real life. You know what? All right.
Bollocks.
So let me ask
you. Thank you.
So John, let me ask you, what did you think of Keanu Reeves portraying you?
I'm not gonna lie to you, mate. This was not his best film.
Luckily, you went to what I said earlier.
Oh no! Actually, what Taladia said is that you do a great British accent.
You have been validated, my friend.
Oh, JD for Cyborg.
You've been blessed.
All right, so Jay, I gotta ask you this. Can you say booyah?
Booyah!
Yeah, actually, that's really good. Wow,
that's really good.
Oh,
Taladia.
Real quick. Wait.
Taladia. No.
No.
Taladia. Can you say bloody hell?
Oh, bloody hell.
All right, we got the actual Brit to do it.
All right, so Jay Heat, real quick. Do your Amanda Waller impression for these people.
What?
My Amanda? Okay. Hold on. All right, give me a second.
He does a mean Amanda Waller impression.
Hold on a sec.
All right, so while he does that, I kind of miss the days when John Constantine was a more obscure character because he became mainstream thanks to CW and the DC AMU movies and the Justice League Dark comics. Well,
is he mainstream though?
More mainstream because here's the thing. A lot of the characters like Zatanna and Swamp Thing, they became more mainstream when they launched the Justice League Dark book, and then you had all these movies coming out.
I mean, Zatanna's just that girl's got a great pair of legs. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I wonder if when she first met Black Canary's like, fishnets are my thing.
You will not believe how many like Zatanna cosplays you see at your average Comic-Con.
I see them a lot. Yeah, I see them a lot. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Go ahead, Jay Heat.
Okay.
Actually, wait. Hang on. Now go.
No pressure.
Very funny, Jared. Okay.
No pressure.
All right, we're doing this.
Hey, what's up, Throth?
I've done a lot of questionable things in my time, and Lord knows I'll have a lot to answer for when I meet him. But I truly think the world is unsustainable without a Batman. You are not his clone. You're his son. You really want a life more meaningful than the Bat? Focus on the people who love you. Or don't. It's your choice.
Holy crap!
I know, right?
What?
DC, hire this man.
Hire him to play Amanda Waller.
Oh my god!
I told you.
Now, when we do like a read through or voiceover thing, he has to play both Constantine and Waller.
And I want them to have a conversation. I want to find a story where Constantine is talking to Amanda Waller, so it's just him for an
There's not that many. There's not that many.
I know. This is why I've been saying this whenever we do new direction, and then when he brings in Amanda Waller, I'm like, oh boy. But
guys, I got chills from that.
Yeah, I know. Isn't that great?
Yeah.
Did you guys play the Constantine game that came out for this movie? No, I did not.
Wait, there was a Constantine game that came with this
Exactly.
movie?
There was a Constantine game. I did not know that. So now, Jay, seriously, what did you think of Constantine in this movie?
Not gonna lie, I enjoyed this movie when I was younger. Like, Constantine's a very obscure character, very badass, off the wall. But as I get older and as I'm more exposed to the mainstream of the superhero trope, I can see how people think it's bad. Because this movie plays more into the mysticism of the Vertigo line. So I would say this movie is very comic accurate. But Vertigo was so obscure, so off the wall compared to what we're used to with superhero stories and adaptations. I could see how it wasn't appreciated in its time. So if I had to rate it now, I'd give it a 7.
Mm-hmm. That's true.
Also, you got to realize this came out during the time where everyone hated Keanu Reeves. Like, this is where like all the Keanu Reeves jokes, like in the 2000s. Like, 2000s was really kind of like the low point for his career. It wasn't really until John Wick came out that he kind of started to die back up again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so the other thing that I really liked about this movie is it's like they had like tropey moments, but they were done well. Like, case in point, when Keanu Reeves and Rachel Weisz are talking in that street, and all of a sudden in the background you see lights start to turn off, and you just see one after the other. I knew something was going to happen, but it was done in such a way because here's the way this movie does it really well in terms of horror. It does it in a way that's like, it's not highlighted or anything. It's just in the background. All of a sudden you see a light turn off, another light turn off. And then all of a sudden they actually like see it. So the way they do that really slow burn, it's really, really effective.
And thanks, Pika, for the vote of confidence.
Yeah. Brown is short. It's hilarious when I see dudes in fishnets at Comic-Con pretending to be Zatanna and Black Canary. I saw one wearing a Scarlet Witch bikini attire. We do not need that image, Warrior. We do not need that image.
I'm literally in the middle of dinner. Come on.
Vomit.
Yeah. By the way, Jay Heat, since you're in the middle of eating Marvel, so which is sad because I think Keanu Reeves plays. Yeah, I get why they why they changed a little bit of it, but I mean, the way I attribute Keanu Reeves playing Constantine is that he basically plays John Constantine, but an American version of him. Because the way he acts in this movie, that's John Constantine. It's like, and I brought up the example of when he's going to heaven, and he just gives the devil the finger as he's going back up. I think that's my favorite scene in the movie. So I'm going to go around real quick. So Nick, what's your favorite scene in the movie?
Probably like the scene where like you got Shia LaBeouf's character making the bullets, and he starts quoting all this like knowledge, and it's just like it's like, oh wow, you're actually useful.
Yes, exactly. How about you, Claudia? Favorite scene?
Favorite scene has to be the bed. It has to be the bed.
Because that's mine. The funny thing about it is that I didn't notice it at first. It's just I see him looking back. I see a hand start doing this, and I'm like, oh, I know what you're doing. I love it. That is awesome. How about you, Jay Heat?
I gotta go with the burn as well. I mean, it's the highlight of the movie. Like, come on,
It's so good. It's like he's like, I got away from you, a-hole. I just love that. I just love that. Keanu Reeves shooting the magical gun. Yeah, that gun was freaking dope. The gold gun. I also liked how many ways he had to go into hell. Like I love where he puts his feet in water and then just stares at a kitten.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
I'm
like,
like,
I love how it's like they're both angel and demon. They had their link in both worlds. It's like,
yeah, I love that. That's really cool. Seeing the devil himself in this movie was really good. Plus, I do really like the angels in this movie. They look cool, especially with the wings. Yeah, here's the other thing. Speaking of VFX, the wings were done really well. I'm like, wow.
For its time.
For its time.
Yeah, for its time,
Yeah.
it definitely meets.
And that's the thing, that this VFX is definitely better than
I mean,
the
also
Flash.
the practical effect work, like the Balthazar fight, where he had like half his face burnt off. You see the demon underneath. Like, that was some really good practical effect makeup.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just a lot of the stuff. Again, this gets back to you had movies that were coming out back then in the early 2000s where the VFX was really, really, really ridiculously good, like Transformers or this. And to me, I think that movie holds up really well. Constantine. Brown Destroyer says traveling to hell is based on real world black magic book, not from the Vertigo comics lore. Do you guys know that? Oh, really? Interesting.
I didn't know that.
Peter Stormare played one reasonably unbiased version of Perkel, as my stepmom called him when she saw this movie. Oh, it's interesting. Yeah, I love practical. That's the thing. It's like, even with like on Tevia's comments here, with the Blue Beetle suit, part of the reason why it looks great in the movie, in addition to like set photos, is because they with the Blue Beetle suit, and this goes back to movies of this time period, they used practical effects and then complemented them with visual effects. That's why a lot of those movies look so good. Like with Blue Beetle, there were some scenes that were clearly CG. However, a lot of them were like just the suit, and then they were like CGI arms coming off of it and him like moving.
Go all the way back to 1994 in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
Go ahead. They used animatronics or like really large puppets, and then for the Disney stuff, they used CGI, and it looks really good. And the fact that like the Gallimina scene is probably the weakest CG in there, but they're like blink and you miss it.
Yeah, exactly. I am not gonna lie. When I saw Constantine movie in school, I wanted a sequel immediately. Well, we could get a sequel. Apparently, they're still working on it, and there hasn't been any updates whether or not if it's been canceled. So I'm gonna assume it's still happening. So I just love. Apparently, Djimon Hounsou, he has been in like so many DC movies. I'm starting to wonder, this dude's probably a DC fan.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, which ones has he been in? I know he was in
Shazam, Black Adam, Constantine.
To be fair, he's playing the same character as he was in Shazam.
Still counts. I'm trying to see which other. By the way, it's interesting is like even beyond Constantine, he's been in a lot of comic book movies like The Legend of Tarzan. Yes, that is a comic book movie.
He was in Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, he was in that.
He's literally the guy who says, "Who?"
Yeah, he was in. Oh my gosh, you know what else he was in? He was in this little-known movie on Netflix called Rebel Moon. I've never heard of that. Wow, it's by someone named Zack Snyder. Wow.
There's this one movie he's in called Never Back Down, which is basically the Karate Kid but MMA. It's really good. The only problem is there's a certain bed crapper in that movie.
Oh yeah, he's also in Aquaman. He plays the Fishman King that Orm kills to take over that kingdom.
I don't know. That sounds kind of fishy.
Yeah, I know. Wasn't this sequel technically going to be part of J.J. Abrams' Dark Universe from DC that didn't happen? Well, remember when J.J. Abrams was going to start doing DC movies and then he didn't do anything?
For 5 years.
Yeah, this is the one time I agree with Zaslav. He's like, we give you this massive deal to make movies for us, and then you spend 5 years making movies for other people? What are you doing? Was Tarzan part of DC or Marvel? Let me see.
Tarzan is its own thing.
Yeah, I think it's owned by a different company because
Tarzan is owned by the Edgar Rice Burroughs estate.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's been published by NBM Publishing and Dark Horse, but it's owned independently.
Yeah, because remember, like we've seen like Tarzan, like remember the Disney Tarzan. There's like a lot of different Tarzan adaptations.
Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure Tarzan is public domain, Tevi. I could be wrong on that, but
oh my gosh,
sure. Tarzan is one of those characters that like the books fall into public domain, but like the character itself, like Zorro and like other characters, where it's like you want to do adaptations, you have to go to the estate.
Mm-hmm. That'd be hilarious to like turn Tarzan into like a Superman character, but because when you think about it, he's basically Aquaman of the land.
No,
because he talks to animals.
No. I'm sorry. No.
You guys suck. Jeez. Tarzan is public domain, I think. Yeah. So back to Constantine, and it is really cool, by the way, because the thing about this movie is like again when you think about the time this came out, because remember, Jay Heat, this was when the Vertigo characters were. This is when like the characters that would eventually become Justice League Dark were not part of DC canon at all.
Prior to the New 52, Vertigo was largely standalone. It was strictly their horror titles. Now, you had a few crossovers here and there when the storyline called for it, but yeah, Vertigo was largely its own. And I believe, now I don't know if they carried over briefly in the New 52 or they were strictly abolished in the New 52, but Black Label came around 2014, 2015. So take your pick. But all in all, Vertigo was able to stand its own for decades.
Yeah. Tevia says, unfortunately, in terms of public domain, knowing some idiots at Hollywood, they'll probably try and make a Tarzan horror movie based, which is a bad idea in my opinion. Isn't it kind of funny how the day that Steamboat Willie got put in public domain, someone released a trailer that was a horror movie?
It's almost as if we've known that the Mickey would be public domain for decades, and they've been preparing for this. It's almost as if they did that.
That would be hilarious. J.J. Abrams should be sued to pay back all the money WB gave him. Yeah, he should, because he didn't do it because the purpose of giving him that money was to make these projects, and he never did it. And now, it could be.
I don't think James Gunn intended to scam Warner Brothers. It's just that's kind of how it panned out.
Wait, you mean J.J. Abrams? You said James Gunn.
No, that's a
Freudian slip and a half. Wow.
Somebody clip this.
Yeah, that's gonna be that's a Comics League moment, right? We've already had like 5 of them on here.
I'm sorry.
Wasn't Earth 7 or something like that? That was the writer who wrote Sandman Comics resides in DC Comics. Where he resides, I think so.
Yeah, because Vertigo, Sandman has its own universe.
Yeah, Sandman was his own thing. But yeah, Vertigo titles would get very, very meta. They were like one of the last few comics in the modern era that were actually allowed the characters to age and develop in real time, and just meta as a whole. I think the last time main comics did this. I want to say it was post-Crisis. Could have been a little later than that. But we've had this stagnant.
Well, the
flow.
Spider-Man comics were doing it as late as the early 2000s.
Okay, all right, you got me there.
Because remember, whenever it's since past, that was still, a lot of age.
You had to read Since Past.
I still hate you for that.
Oh, you're gonna love me when you read Since, the sequel to that, because you're reading the sequel to that.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are. Okay,
No,
executive decision. We're gonna take a vote. Of the four of us. So, Jaheen Taladia, does Nick have to read the sequel to Sin's Past?
Yes.
Come on, man. That's a glutton for punishment. Come on.
Luckily for you, I control what happens on my channel.
No, but it's gonna be on my channel.
God dang it!
It'll be on my channel this time.
Well, every time you want me to read it, be like, I suddenly have the spider flu.
Yeah, and we'll see if I actually accept that excuse, but we'll see.
I can't. So, I had the spider flu. Every time I think about Spider-Man, I want to hurl.
Dweeb.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
Wait, how did Zeb Wells get into this?
Yeah,
I regret nothing. I regret nothing.
Exactly, nice. But in terms of going back to Constantine, now if we do a sequel to this movie, and by the way, to continue on with the movie, I love it. The thing that I'm still a little iffy on was Tilda Swinton as Gabriel, because I'm like, is Gabriel a woman in this universe, or are they just having a woman play a man in this universe?
To be fair, Tilda Swinton always kind of plays roles that are very gender bent, because like her look is very androgynous, and I think a lot of the roles she takes kind of lean into that. And so I think it's kind of meant to be ambiguous. Well, I don't know. She does present very much more like a woman, but
Fair
like
enough.
A very androgynous woman, in my opinion.
Fair enough. The other thing I did like, and I'm going to conclude talk about Constantine on this. I loved how respectful this thing was of general religion, and that surprised me, honestly.
It's a rare thing, especially even back then.
Yeah, because this movie could have totally dunked on religion and everything like that, but it was pretty respectful, and I'm like,
which
okay,
kind of makes me wary of any potential sequel, because modern writers just cannot help themselves.
Yeah, that's the thing, because I'm like, yeah, I agree with you, Nick, because I'm a little, it's just like, yeah, I'm not, although the thing is, it is being directed by the same guy, so they're bringing back a lot of the key creatives, so it could be they'll keep that theme.
And plus, Keanu Reeves has a lot of pull, so I would say it has a shot at being good.
Yeah, it's definitely one of the movies that I am very interested in seeing, 100%.
Also, since, spoiler alert, Gabriel was made human at the end of this movie, they have an excuse to bring Tilda Swinton back, because she could have been humanist the whole entire time, which would explain why she's aged.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That actually works really well.
And to answer your comment, Pika, they kind of change the Earth designations all the time. There's never really been any real consistency with that, other than a few.
Yeah.
Like Earth 22 is Kingdom Come, Earth 3 is the Crime Syndicate, except stuff. So like those.
Mm-hmm. Earth 2 is like Alternate Justice Society.
And Earth 100 is all the old writers like Nick. So there you go. So I had to. I
mean, it is the best Earth. So
nah, it's not Earth 1, because Earth 1 is a number 1. But anyway,
I'm 100. I'm rated 100.
Out of a scale of 100.
My numbers are bigger than yours.
Out of a scale of 100, Nick, that's not impressive.
On a scale of 100, I'm 100, so thus I win.
Play not to impress. We need to play.
Yeah, exactly. And Nick, on a scale of 100, from 1 to 100, where 1 being the best, I am
not impressed.
But in Bizarro World, I am the best.
Bizarro World. We're not in a Bizarro World.
Yes, we are. I reject reality and substitute my own. Bam.
This is my reality, so screw you. So there you go.
No, this is my reality.
All right, so Nick is seeing this one out for the rest of the stream. You're on the bottom now, sir. So anyway, all in all,
but in Bizarre World, bottom is top.
So let's go around before we conclude talk about Constantine. We're not going to conclude the stream yet because there's still some topics we can discuss, but let's conclude this. So how would you rate this movie out of 10? With me, I give it a solid 7.5 out of 10 because it's enjoyable. There are some points where it hasn't aged well in terms of like the writing and stuff. There are some parts where it doesn't really line up well, but it's an overall very enjoyable movie. Taladia.
I give it a 7.5 as well. Very enjoyable. And it's worth a rewatch if you guys haven't watched it before. Or if you have watched it, watch it again. It's fun.
Jay-Heat.
I'd give it a 7.6 as well. It's very flawed and it's very dated the time period it was released in, but it's worth a watch at the very least, especially with the recent notoriety the character has gotten. So it's worth a watch.
All right, Grandpa.
First off, fluff off. I give it an 8.5 out of 10. It is very enjoyable, very high quality, a bit flawed in some aspects, but overall very good.
Cool. So on that note, actually, now I have Jay Heat here, I can ask him this. So Jay Heat, what do you think about Warner Brothers surveying their top tier content creators about the Snyderverse?
All I can say is, hey, it's possible. Y'all were able to achieve the Snyder Cut and get that released, even if there was some corporate factors that played into that. So at this point, anything's possible. And I've probably said this, and Talati can attest to this. I've said this on multiple podcasts and streams. Anything is possible with a solid consumer base and consumer engagement. You decide with your wallets how you decide things trend. Now, if they want to stick with James Gunn's universe and have the Snyder stuff on the back burner as an Elseworld to keep goodwill and garnish momentum, then yeah, it's a perfect Elseworld story, especially if Netflix is going to directly license and fund it. But we have to wait and see whether or not Warner Brothers is in a position to swallow their pride on this one. So,
true that. Now, the other thing that I want to bring up is that McFarlane released images and pre-orders for the Batman versus Superman Batman, and it sold out in less than an hour.
To be fair, Brown Destroyer, that is a relatively low bar.
Constantine is better than Superman Returns. Oh, yes. Whoa, that's a good question. Which is better, Green Lantern or Superman Returns?
That depends on who you ask.
Superman Returns.
Okay, Nick, why?
Because Superman Returns has a better plot. It's more coherent. The themes are better. Honestly, the biggest problem with Green Lantern is it's a bit of a disjointed mess, and it has like a lot of varying, disparaging elements, and it just doesn't really gel. Plus, Green Lantern also suffers under the fact that they were trying to use it to springboard a new universe where Superman Returns does not have to burden with that. The only thing Superman Returns is burdened with is the fact that it's a Reeves film, but I think it actually uses that as more of a benefit than a detriment.
I'll concur with Nick on that because say what you will about Superman Returns, but that film's biggest problem was the generational rift between having two solid generations of people and fans that have gone by since Superman 3. I don't count Superman 4 because they never made a Superman 4. But anyway.
Yeah, there will be no
They did. It's called The Quest for Peace.
Even if you factored that was relatively Superman Returns' biggest problem.
I mean, Jay Heat, are you telling me you didn't like Superman throwing nukes into a giant net and throwing them into the sun?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
You tell me you didn't like Nuclear Man?
Can I please finish my point?
I think throwing the entire nuclear arsenal into the sun would actually mess up the sun because
it would destroy Superman now.
Because the sun itself is basically a giant nuclear reaction. So,
as for Green Lantern, you had the perfect template in this animated film. Green Lantern First Flight. It tells a direct, solid origin story about how Sinestros fall from grace and he pursues the yellow element, which then he uses to forge the Yellow Lantern Corps. It does everything a GL origin story needs to do. Green Lantern, the animated series, that's a separate conversation, and that show was arguably sabotaged because of Green Lantern, the movie's failure. But even in spite of that, even in spite of that, we have to acknowledge the fact that they were doing too much too soon with Green Lantern 2011. I think we can all agree on that.
It's not a bad movie. It's not a bad
movie at all. And by the way, guys, did you see that when Nick and I were talking about it for movie night, Ethan Van Sciver showed up in our chat?
Congratulations.
That was pretty cool.
Yes. Cool. So is Nuclear Man even? No, he doesn't exist in DC Comics. He does not.
No.
There's a reason for that.
Thank God.
There's a reason for that. So anyway, I think that's a good place to wrap it up, as a matter of fact, because we've been going for about an hour, and then we all have other streams to get to. So all in all, not a bad movie. I definitely enjoyed this one. This is one I would love to watch. Actually, he does exist. He does exist. Oh no!
All right, somebody pull up the DC Wiki article. We need to solve this right here now.
Wait. Yes, now we have to. Nuclear Man. Let me see. Oh no, he does exist.
What have you done?
Wait a second. Is this right? Was this brought up where I think he is? This had better be in a Bendis run. If this is in a Bendis run, this is gonna be hilarious.
I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised.
Let me see. Hang on. Who wrote him? I don't see who brought him into continuity. Who did? Is it Bendis?
And Pika's comment, First Flight was a loose adaptation of Emerald Dawn. I should cover those stories this year. Definitely, man. If you got the time.
Yeah. If you got the time, go ahead. So, so far I'm looking and I don't see anything in terms of Nuclear Man. And deleted scene, including the coming out tissue prototype. Blah, blah, blah. I'm trying to see.
I want to say it was Bendis.
According to Tevia, that makes a lot of sense. Oh my gosh, there's a reason why that run was completely eliminated. And you know what? All right, Tevia, you put that in a comment. I gotta do this.
Why did you say that name?
I'm so bad.
We can never escape that, man. So anyway, we're gonna wrap this up. So Taladia, where can we find you, and what have you got coming out on your channel, dude?
You guys can follow me on Twitter at @TaladiaPlays_ and on YouTube at TaladiaPlays, where I will be doing more Suicide Squad Killer Justice League coverage. I have got tons and tons of stuff. Reaction video on Monday that's coming out. Tuesday is nothing, but then Wednesday is me, Jared, talking about Volume 2, Issue 1 for our Justice League coverage. So that'll be exciting. I'm really looking forward to talking about that with Jared and Jay Heat, if Jay Heat's available. And also this Sunday, I'm also going to be doing a stream with Jay Heat where we're talking about some Dragon Ball stuff, because there's something really cool that we've got some new notifications for.
So definitely stay tuned for that.
Jay Heat.
But to pick up where Taladia left off, we did get some updates on the Dragon Ball Battle Hour conference and how it was considered a private event, and they'll officially promote it afterward. This is likely to avoid leaks or anything along those lines, but we'll probably go in more details this Sunday, tomorrow afternoon. But outside of that, expect that my April DC solicitations video this week, my Boruto manga review, Chapter 6 with Nick Lenz, and the first New Direction verse video of 2024, officially New Direction Barry Allen with Jared. I believe that is also tomorrow at 8 p.m. EST, Jared.
Yep,
or
should be.
Okay.
Should be.
And I've officially started my next gaming playthrough, Mass Effect, on Twitch. You can find me there at jheat751. I will also be posting the playthrough on YouTube as well afterward. So if you want to wait for me on YouTube or you want to join me on Twitch, please subscribe and follow me on both, whatever your preference.
I'm Jared for Comics League, and this is my favorite live stream on the Citadel.
Oh, dear God.
I had to. How big of a flop was the Bendis run?
Oh, it was god awful. I can show you the numbers.
In terms of sales, there is no lower. There's a reason why they've undone most of what he did. So anyway, old man.
All right. Well, in less than an hour, you'll be able to check me out on my channel. Jared will be joining me. He'd be up to his usual harassment.
I'll be spamming the air horn.
Please don't. Please, for the love of God, don't. We're playing Pokemon Yellow, and we are heading towards Celadon City. We're going to feed some thirsty guards, and it's going to be a great time. Monday, we got rewatch for Avatar coming out. Then Wednesday, I'll be highlighting this really, really crappy comic called Athena. I'm going to have the creator on. He's kind of an a-hole. He's going to talk about the comic and what we can look forward to. So I guess it should be fun.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Interesting. Interesting.
In terms of for me, so Britt and I are gonna be this week's on Super Wonder Legacy. Britt and I are taking DC from where it is now and then building toward a Superman gang with Super Wonder instead. So basically, we're fixing DC where it stands now instead of like going back to like the new 52 like we did before and fixing that. So next, I'm gonna be doing my next commentary episode, which will be out on Wednesday, but Tuesday for all viewers is gonna be about why Captain America matters as a character, because I think it's one of the characters that is underappreciated on Twitter. Next week,
before the end, I had to cut you off, Jared. Before the end of this year, we are reviewing and doing a retrospective on Ed Brubaker's Captain America run.
Yes, we have to.
Hail Hydra. Hail Hydra.
That's no wrong run.
That's
Nick.
Secret Empire.
Wrong run, Nick. If you're gonna make a pun, you might want to get your facts right. Pun intended.
I am Iron Man.
That doesn't even make sense. But anyway,
use the Force, Yoda.
So anyway, the next movie night is going to be League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. So we're going to talk about that. And
the trivia that I will share.
I'm so excited. And then in terms of Under Two Capes, well, first off, I have the conversation I had with Brucifer that came out yesterday. That's basically us disproving superhero fatigue. So that was fun.
I mean, I tell you that much.
In terms of Under Two Capes next week, I'm thinking we do some stuff with some more stuff with animation. Like, what we'll do. I'm thinking I'm going to announce it now. Let's do a discussion talking about where DC could go after the Tomorrowverse. Or we can do as a retrospective on some of the story decisions of the Tomorrowverse. So anyway, we're going to do something like that. So all in all, pretty fun week for content. I can't wait to share it all with you guys. So stay heroic. And remember, Lois Lane is Lois Lane.